As I pondered for a bit, Mia looked intently at me. Noticing her gaze, I looked back at her and she smiled, saying, "You're kind, aren't you? All right. For such a kind Alex, let's give you a reward." Having my long-admired person say such a thing, I was thrilled about what kind of reward awaited me and eagerly awaited what would come next. Phew, we've arrived. My name is Alex, a 30-year-old working at a company in New York. Today, I'm using the long weekend to fly back to my hometown. Because major holidays and Christmas get so crowded, I usually take a few days off randomly during a long weekend to visit home about once every 6 months. After exiting the arrival lobby, I entered a diner I always visit. I frequent this diner every time I come home. That's because I worked here part-time when I was in high school. I wonder if it's her day off today. She hasn't quit, has she? After looking around the diner for a while, I felt a bit let down. I was looking for Mia. She was a senior when I was working part-time, and now she's the manager of this place. She's a beauty that turns every head in the place, with impeccable customer service to boot. She was the senior I admired, always teaching me kindly and carefully, even when I was a newbie. And she was the only woman who ever called my smile cute. Ever since I was a kid, I've been teased by my classmates for my squinty-eyed smile, making it a complex of mine. Although I intended to work only in the kitchen, this diner required working in the hall as well, and there was customer service training. Despite not wanting to force a smile for work, I nervously tried my best, and Mia called that smile cute. At that moment, I fell for her. But there was a problem. Mia was 10 years my senior. There was no way she would see me as a romantic prospect. At the time, Mia had a boyfriend, and I couldn't even confess my feelings. After quitting the part-time job to attend college in New York, I ended up working there, and during my biannual visits home, I dropped by this diner, chat with her if she was working. It's been over a decade since I met her, and by now, the hope of getting together with her has faded, but talking with Mia always warms my heart. Seeing Mia during my visits home was always a soothing moment. 2 days later, I ended my visit home and headed to the local airport a bit early. Peeking into the diner where I used to work, I spotted Mia before entering the shop today. Her radiant smile still dazzled me. I then stepped inside the diner. "Welcome, oh Alex, it's been a while, hasn't it? How's work going?" "Smoothly. Got a girlfriend." I furrowed my brows in frustration. "Even you, Mia. Give me a break. I'm already exhausted from my parents nagging me about when I'm going to get married." Seeing my trolled face, Mia laughed. "Oh dear, you seem to have worried your parents. I don't get nagged about it anymore. Here, take a seat wherever you like." Prompted by her, I took a seat. Mia brought over the pasta I had ordered. "Be careful, the plate is hot," she said as she placed the pasta in front of me. "I'm always happy to see you stop by. You're so diligent." Unable to voice out that I came to see Mia, I just started eating my pasta. "What time is your flight back to New York?" "The 5 p.m. flight," I replied after swallowing a bite of pasta. Mia glanced at the clock inside the diner and said, "That's quite early. It's only 2 p.m. now, right? Oh, I'm about to take a break soon, so I can keep you company for an hour to kill some time," making me overjoyed. "Are you sure?" As I responded with a smile, Mia said, "Yes. Haha, your smile is still as cute as ever," then turned on her heel and headed back to the kitchen. Even now, being praised by Mia for my smile, which I've always been self-conscious about, made me feel warmly happy. I waited for Mia to take her break, and then we left the diner. We strolled around the airport for a bit. While heading to the counter with Mia to check in my luggage, an announcement was made about the next flight being canceled due to a mechanical issue. "It's not your flight, right, Alex? That's a relief." "Yeah, Mine is the one after the next. As we engaged in casual conversation, the counter became swamped with people. They were probably trying to rebook for the next flight. Deciding to check in our luggage later, we headed to the observation deck to watch the planes together. "Please wait, can't you do something? I really need to get on the next flight," a man was pleading desperately nearby. Watching the situation, after a brief exchange with the counter staff, the man hung his head and walked away from the line. Seeing the man, I exclaimed, "Ah, Ethan, is that you, Ethan?" When I called out to him, the man looked up and saw me. Then he broke into a wide smile. "Alex, wow, it's been so long, since high school graduation." "Yeah, it has. How've you been? What's going on with you?" As I asked, Ethan glanced at Mia standing next to me. "Oh, this is Mia, a senior from when I used to work part-time in high school. She's keeping me company to kill some time." I introduced Mia to Ethan, and then Mia said something surprising. "I know him. Ethan, right. It's been a while. How are you?" "Yeah, I'm good." "And Mia?" "I'm fine. How's your brother doing? Is he well?" Well." The conversation between Mia and Ethan was somewhat awkward. Confused by the situation, Mia turned to me. "You know, I used to date Ethan's brother. We broke up after I got sick." She smiled faintly, looking a bit downcast. "My brother was pretty down about it at the time," Ethan muttered reluctantly. Hearing that, Mia said, "I see. I must have left him with a heavy burden," with a smile, but Ethan couldn't look directly at her. "What's going on with you, Ethan? You were yelling about something earlier." Mia continued the conversation as if nothing had happened. "Oh, well, that." Ethan scratched his nose awkwardly. "You're hiding something, aren't you?" Mia pointed out sharply. "You always scratched your nose like that when you were making up excuses for your mischief so your brother wouldn't find out, didn't you?" Exposed like that, Ethan's face turned red. "It's okay, don't worry about me. I need to hurry." With that, Ethan tried to leave us behind. But I stopped him. "It's not like you don't care, right? It's rare for you to raise your voice like that." When I said this while looking directly at Ethan, he hung his head. "My wife, she's pregnant right now." At his words, Mia smiled gently. "Ethan is so kind." Faced with this response, Ethan looked embarrassed. I was clueless and just silently watched the two of them. "You know, I broke up with Ethan's older brother because my illness left me unable to have children. I guess Ethan is being considerate and avoiding a topic of pregnancy around me." I was shocked by this huge revelation, and Ethan nodded. Mia looked at Ethan with a serious, almost angry gaze. "You don't have to be considerate towards me. What happened? Is something wrong with your wife?" Confronted by Mia's intense stare, Ethan reluctantly shared. "It seems she slipped on the stairs despite being early in her pregnancy and had to be rushed to the hospital." I was surprised, and Mia exclaimed, "That's terrible. You need to go back immediately." "But the flight is fully booked, and I'm first on the wait list." Ethan nervously checked the counter. He was probably waiting for his name to be called. Mia glanced at the counter. "I have a friend at the check-in. Let me ask for you." As Mia was about to rush to the counter, I grabbed her wrist to stop her. "What are you doing? We need to hurry." Mia glared at me, frustrated. "I'm on the next flight, so I'll cancel my ticket. Then Ethan, being first on the wait list, will definitely get my seat, right?" At my words, both Mia and Ethan's eyes widened. "That's really kind of you, but it would be troublesome for you." Ethan hesitated, which I found amusing. "I've taken the day off work tomorrow. I was just planning to return to New York a day early with some leeway. So don't worry about it and use this," I said, offering the ticket, and Ethan grabbed my hand. "I'm deeply grateful." He firmly grasped my hand, his own shaking slightly. "And I will definitely repay this favor. I've been in your debt since high school," he said, uncharacteristically. Indeed, we had helped each other out back then, lending notebooks and copying homework. I smiled wryly at the memory. Though I was worried about the ticket exchange, Mia spoke to her friend at the check-in, and the process concluded smoothly. I rebooked my flight for the next day's noon. Relieved, Ethan said he needed to go to the bathroom and ran off in search of one. As I watched Ethan head towards the bathroom, I pondered what to do until tomorrow when Mia looked at me intently. Noticing her gaze, I looked back at Mia, who smiled and said, "You are really kind." I thought giving up my ticket to Ethan was worth it, but then Mia added, "All right, for such a kind Alex, I'll give you a reward." I was thrilled, wondering what the reward would be. "I'll treat you to dinner tonight at my favorite restaurant," she said, and I was over the moon, feeling as if my airplane ticket had turned into a date. "I still have 3 hours of work, but if you don't mind waiting, will you wait for me?" I nodded vigorously. "I can wait for hours. I love airports." Laughing at this, Mia said, "You've been like this since high school, huh? See you later then." I watched Mia return to work with a dumbfounded look. Since Ethan had some time until his 5 p.m. boarding, I was idly watching the planes take off and land on the deck with him, but Ethan would frequently step away to make phone calls. It seemed like he was talking to family members or someone from the hospital. When alone, I couldn't help but think about Mia. Though I didn't hear the details, the thought of not being able to have children lingered in my mind. Mia loves kids, and her smile always grows even wider when children come to the diner. She happily brings out children's dishes and chairs and chats with them. While I was thinking about this, Ethan sat down next to me after finishing his call. "Is your wife okay?" I asked Ethan, who looked downcast, and he replied, "They're examining her in detail right now, so I'm not sure." As someone who's not married, I had no more words to offer, so Ethan and I silently sipped coffee on the deck. After a moment of silence, Ethan looked at me tentatively. Then he asked, "Hey, do you like Mia?" Which made me choke. What are you talking about?" Ignoring my coughing, Ethan continued. "Well, you seem to have a good vibe going. I noticed you were quite smitten." I started to panic, wondering if my feelings were that obvious. Seeing my reaction, Ethan laughed. "If you do like Mia, I thought I might have some good advice for you." I was annoyed by Ethan's teasing, but then he said, "If you don't like her, this information would only be a bother to you, so I won't say anything." I admitted, "Well, I'm not seriously in love, but I've always admired her." Ethan laughed again. "Mia is beautiful and kind. I get why you'd fall for her," he said, making my face heat up. "So, what is it? This good news you're talking about?" I urged him on, trying to hide my embarrassment, and Ethan chuckled. "You worked at that place in high school, right? Mia often talked about you, said you were conscientious and thoughtful, not like a typical high school student. She said your smile was cute, even though your eyes squint and you make a funny face when you laugh." His unnecessary remark dampened my spirits. "She talked about you so much that my brother got jealous. You might have a chance," he said, making my face turn red even in front of Ethan. After that, I thanked Ethan multiple times as I saw him off to the boarding gate and stood alone on the deck again, thinking about Mia. She had been talking about me when I wasn't around, and she had been praising me. I had always thought Mia complimented my smile just to boost my confidence, not because she really meant it. But to think she said such things about me even when I wasn't there. I was so moved I almost cried. To know that someone genuinely liked my smile, which I've always been self-conscious about, and that someone was Mia, whom I've admired for so long. As I was blushing at the thought of Mia, the real Mia appeared in front of me, saying, "Sorry to keep you waiting," and I panicked. We left the airport and headed to the employees' parking lot. We drove to Mia's favorite restaurant in her cute light blue compact car. It was a small Italian place, and the arrabbiata was superb. But I heard that women on a date with someone they're interested in avoid ordering anything with garlic. Perhaps I'm not considered a romantic interest. The conversation was tense at first but soon flowed freely, and we talked for about an hour at the restaurant. I wanted to spend more time together, but without being lovers, there was no reason to keep her late into the night. "Is it okay to drop you off at your parents' house?" she asked, and I shook my head. When I left home, my mother had already cleaned my room. I thought it'd be bad to extend my stay, so I booked a hotel. There were no single rooms left, so it's a twin, I explained, having booked the hotel while waiting for Mia. When I told her the name of the hotel, Mia grinned. "A room for two, huh?" As I was admiring her beautiful smile, she said, "It must be lonely in such a big room by yourself," and I chuckled. "I'll enjoy the spacious room all by myself." At my words, Mia's smile widened and she dropped a bombshell. "Should I stay with you then?" I turned bright red and panicked. "No, that's with Mia. Stay over." "No, that can't be right. A man and a woman in the same room. That's not appropriate," I blurted out, flustered, and Mia burst into laughter. "Ah ha ha, come on. Nothing's going to happen with a woman 10 years your senior, right?" Mia said, laughing. After a good laugh, she looked a bit melancholy. "Well, it wouldn't matter if something did happen. I'm not really a woman anymore." She laughed self-deprecatingly and said, "Don't say that, Mia, you are always a wonderful woman." Unable to come up with anything more clever to say, I looked down. Then Mia took a deep breath, started the engine, and said, "Do you still have time? Let's go for a little drive," steering the car in the opposite direction of the hotel. Holding the steering wheel and looking straight ahead, Mia began to talk. When she and her boyfriend, Ethan's older brother, were discussing marriage, Mia was struggling with irregular periods. The pain became so severe that she went to the hospital, where she learned she had to have a hysterectomy due to her condition. It was aggressive and had been caught late, leaving no option but a complete removal. I regretted it so much. If only I had gone to the hospital sooner. If only I had gotten my regular periods checked. After losing her uterus and the possibility of having children, Mia broke up with her boyfriend. He said it was okay not to have children, but Mia's guilt kept growing. This guilt sometimes turned into irritation, which she took out on him, leading to an increasingly strained relationship and eventually to their breakup. When we decided to break up, I was so sad, but a big part of me was relieved. Now he could have his own children with someone else. Mia said this with a slight smile, still looking ahead. I had to throw myself into work. Just then, the manager was quitting, and I applied for the position. By dedicating herself to her job, she avoided relationships with men. Mia shared all this with me. Thanks to that, every time I came home, I could see Mia. Mia smiled at my words. And then we arrived at our destination. It was a hill overlooking the town, offering a beautiful view of the night lights. There was a space to park the car, with a clear view of the town below. "It's beautiful," I murmured, and Mia looked pleased. "It can't compare to New York's night view, but I love it here. When I'm feeling down, I come here to watch the night sky." Mia's face, illuminated by the night lights and the moon, looked incredibly mystical and beautiful. As I looked at her, my mouth moved on its own. "I like you," I confessed to Mia in just one sentence. Mia looked surprised for a moment but then laughed. "What brought this on all of a sudden? Oh, do you mean you like the night view? Did I misunderstand?" Even in the moonlight, I could see her blushing as she laughed. I remembered my conversation with Ethan. There might be a chance. If I don't say it now, I might never get another chance. I gathered my courage. "No, I mean, I've liked you, Mia, for a long, long time, and I still do." I made sure Mia had no way to avoid my gaze, telling her seriously. Mia realized my confession was sincere, stopped laughing, and looked at me sternly. Do you pity me? I don't need your sympathy. Her voice contained a slight anger, and I shrank back but said, It's not pity or anything like that. I've liked you since high school. I know I'm 10 years younger and probably not considered a romantic prospect, but could you start considering me as one now? Mia then looked at me with a pitying expression. Alex, you're still 30, right? No, it's not right. Don't waste your time on an old lady like me. Marry a cute girl, have children, and show me their faces. I can't have my own kids, but I still love them, so I want to see your kids. Mia said this and turned away, as if fleeing from my earnest gaze. I moved in front of Mia and placed my hands on her shoulders. No, I want you, Mia. It has to be you. I haven't been able to forget you for over 10 years. Otherwise, I wouldn't visit your shop every time I come home. That would be creepy, right? I'm sorry if it's creepy, but you've always been my aspiration and a person I love. Every 6 months when I see you, my feelings reignite. I've tried to forget. I've had moments where I felt good with someone else, but it never works. You've always. Feeling a sting in the back of my nose, I paused for a moment. Then, I turned to Mia and gave her the biggest smile I could muster. I've always been really self-conscious about this smile of mine. I hardly ever smile now, but you said my smile was cute. I can smile in front of you. I can only smile in front of you, Mia. When you said my smile was cute, you meant it, right? Tears welled up in Mia's eyes. She nodded silently. I can forget you, the one who erased my complex. You're the only one who calls me cute. As long as I have you, that's all I need. I'm not hung up on having children. I just want to spend the rest of my life with you, Mia. Am I not enough? Mia looked down. It won't work, because when you're 40, I'll be 50, you know. So what? I'll be an unremarkable 40-year-old, and Mia will surely be a graceful 50-year-old. Mia shook her head slowly. Men in their 30s and 40s, they're attractive. Young girls won't leave you alone. Her voice was trembling. I don't want young girls. I want to be needed by Mia. I spoke quietly, and Mia still resisted. When you're 50, I'll be 60, you know. Her way of resisting was cute. I'll be a plain old man. Maybe my hair will start thinning soon, or maybe even sooner. And Mia, you'll be a beautiful 60-year-old. Let's celebrate that. At the mention of my thinning hair, I sensed Mia trying to suppress a laugh. When you're 60, I cut off Mia's words. Are we still going on about this, Mia? Even at 70 or 80, with white hair, you'll be gentle and beautiful. I might be a hunched-over old man with poor posture. No matter how many years pass, I can never catch up to you or become older than you. I'll always be 10 years younger, but I'll strive to be a man Mia can rely on. So, please, walk for life with me. After I said this, Mia looked up, her eyes slightly moist. Are you really okay with not having children? With not having your own kids? That's unfair to you and your parents. She pleaded with tears streaming down her face. My parents would be over the moon if I brought home a beauty like Mia. They'd say, well done. At that, Mia seemed to give in, looking upwards. I guess there's no helping it. Well, I'll go out with you until the real love of your life appears, okay? Her words seemed like a shy cover-up, so I hugged Mia tightly. Looking down at the night view below, I felt as if it were blessing us. Just then, my phone rang. It was Ethan, calling with happy tears to report that both mother and child were safe. Mia and I both sat down, relieved. I made it work with Mia, too. When I reported this to Ethan, he let out a loud cheer. Then, I could hear someone scolding him in the background. Maybe it was his wife. I promised to call back later to congratulate them properly, and hung up. I was overflowing with happiness. Soon after, I quit my job in New York and transferred to a factory that was being newly established in my hometown. Mia, who had been sure that our long-distance relationship would continue, was surprised by my swift action. I wanted to show my commitment. Then I handed Mia the brochure. It was from an organization supporting adoption. Mia, who had never considered adoption, was taken aback. I really like seeing you with children, so I thought this could be an option for us. After saying this, Mia sniffled a little. And you see, like it says in this brochure, there's an age limit to becoming parents. 42 years old. Mia, hurry up and marry me. We'll run out of time. As I continued, Mia protested. What? Wait a minute. Oh, I see what you're doing, rushing me so I don't have time to think. Huh? You're good at this. Despite her grumbling, her eyes were smiling. I can still vividly recall that scene. Mia kept asking, "Are you sure I'm the one you want?" And each time, I assured her that she was. A year later, Mia finally said, "I can't do it anymore. I can't imagine a life without you," and decided to marry me. Now, our adopted daughter is turning 2. Mia strokes our daughter's head as she naps and looks at her with such tenderness. "I'm so happy right now," Mia says, her face radiating with loving kindness. "Thank you for not giving up on me, Alex," she says with a smile. As I chuckle bashfully, Mia starts to share something. "I was actually considering switching jobs, not just at the diner, but then I realized I wouldn't see you whenever you came back home, so I stayed there." Whispering so as not to wake our daughter, Mia shares this, and I blush deeply. "Why didn't you tell me something so nice sooner?" I protest. Mia responds, "I thought you wouldn't give up on me if I said that." "I wouldn't have given up anyway," I say with a laugh, and Mia laughs too. I truly love Mia, who is always charming and beautiful and can say such delightful things out of the blue. I know she recently bought a beauty device secretly, thinking I wouldn't find out. I don't care about age. I'll always love Mia. I want us to create many laugh lines together, living modestly with our adorable daughter. Looking at our daughter's peaceful sleeping face, Mia and I shared a laugh,